As the song asks, do you believe in magic? We're going to talk about why magic in books is so popular. Mom's here. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. My name is Rob. This is Karen, my mom, and we are Books, Banter, and Beyond. Today we are talking about magic in books. If any magic authors are out there that want to come join us, we'll remix this video again, maybe.
Mhm.
But we're going to talk about why that theme seems to never fade. You have stuff like Lord of the Rings, you have Game of Thrones, the Harry Potter series, all of it continues to be steady in popularity. And we are going to try to decipher why that is.
Okay.
Um, First thing that I always noticed was it restores mystery to predictability. So, whereas we all kind of know how our days are going to work, how life works, excuse me, magic in fiction allows us to reintroduce the idea of wonder. And, when you think about it, why do we watch some of these things? Why do we read this stuff?
Right.
It's the imagination of it. J.R.R. Tolkien argued in his essay on fairy tales, or fairy stories, excuse me, that fantasy provides recovery, helping readers see the ordinary world again. So it's almost like you are reopening your eyes to what you already know when you are reading
Mhm.
this kind of fiction. Kind of a cool, thought there, right?
Yeah. Well, when you first said magic, I was thinking like, magic tricks, like a magician and who stands in front of people and does, rabbits out of hats. And that's not really what we're talking about here. Magic in the form of fantasy.
Yes, magic in the form of storytelling
Okay.
and magical systems in this case, meaning how a book works, the rules, all that stuff,
Hmm.
they actually still allow the impossible to be real. So, for instance, if you have a school or a city that follows the magical rules, you'll notice that the rules actually follow real types of things. So, you have, your what you can do, what you can't do. What happens if you put this and this together? What happens if you use the magic you're not supposed to? And it gives you all of those realistic types of ideas. Psychologists say that humans are drawn to these experiences because the awe allows you to expand your perception and stops from the critical thinking for a minute. It kind of lets you go, hey, I know this is fiction,
Hmm.
but this actually makes some sense,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So, do you think this is a comforting or destabilizing idea? Do you think that the idea that this can be true is good or bad, I guess?
I think it's good, I guess, because it makes the story more complete. You can, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it destabilizes. I think it's part
I
of the.
would agree. I think generally speaking, the idea that you can have a made up idea work in a real idea
Mhm.
is kind of nice. It kind of proves that the way our brain works is is good, right? It's kind of fun.
Exactly. Do you think that wonder is something that adults, we're both adults here, maybe one slightly older, that we miss the wonder, that we're missing that in our lives and we're missing it, and so we go to these books in order to regain it?
I think it's definitely important to remember why imagination is so
Hmm.
key to health in a way,
Right. Right.
because it allows you to dream, it allows you to build, it allows you to grow.
Right.
It's kind of like, when you make a Lego set, but you kind of do it your own way and you make your own version of it.
Right.
That's your imagination going, wow, that's the magic within the
That's the
ability.
magic within it. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Um, on top of that, just as we were speaking of, magic externalizes our internal experiences. So, rage becomes physical fire, or grief becomes maybe a curse. Love becomes the protective spell,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So, different authors, different critics will say that fantasy works to make emotions come to life by comparing them to a thing, a physical thing.
Okay.
Ursula K. Le Guin, one of my favorites, she did the Earth Sea series, I believe. She wrote that fantasy is not escaping anything, but it's a way to describe reality metaphorically. So, where a lot of people used to think that, oh, you're reading a book because you're trying to get away from something, I don't ever think that was a true statement. I think you're reading a book for the enjoyment of reading a book, and I think part of it is the world you're going into gives you an idea of maybe how to be a better you, maybe how to deal with general ideals, right? So I think in a way when somebody says, "Oh, you're reading because you're fearful,"
Escaping
I think
life.
more so you're reading because it's enjoyment and you are learning from,
Mm,
you know, and then of course when it mirrors everything. So when the magic mirrors life, you're
mhm.
not actually escaping at all because you're literally repurposing you in a different form. So you have the ability to, shoot lightning, or you have the ability to, float, so to speak. Um, so it's kind of an interesting thought.
Yeah, it is. I've never looked at this before. I mean, I've never really. I've actually never heard the word magic connected to books per se, other than Tolkien, where there was magic, that kind of thing. This is fascinating. Do you think it makes emotions easier to see? Emotion if you're using magic.
I mean, it definitely helps. It definitely helps. Obviously, I would say you shouldn't obviously take one over the other, but I think if you are looking for something to decipher like
Hmm.
a situation in your head,
Hmm.
the idea of magic or fantasy or what
Hmm.
have you
Right.
will allow you to see it a little clearly in terms of, oh, hey, this person is kind of doing a similar thing.
Right.
Let's see how they go through. And then maybe I can see something that I didn't see prior to,
Yeah,
the story.
that makes sense.
And then, lastly, magic suggests that change is possible. And I think this is the key, most important part. The one thing that we know in magic stories is there's always transformation. So you always have the main character who learns they have the ability,
Right.
doesn't necessarily buy it at first, goes through all of these situations, and then at the end of it is still the same person, but has definitely transformed in terms of doing. Does it make them, better or worse? That depends on the story. But does it make them a stronger individual? Definitely. They bring out their abilities, they bring out their identity.
Hmm.
Think of a superhero film, for instance. Usually, they try to keep themselves silent because they don't want the view, but there's always that point in the book or the whatever where they have to come out there, and all of a sudden people go, "Oh my god, you are so and so,"
Hmm.
and then you end up having a brand new character because now not only are they one person, they're not just the other person, they're now both put together. And then it becomes a story of, okay, now what do I do? Do I fulfill? Do I hold back? And so you learn that the transformation, the change is important. Developmental psychologists, or psychologists that work with kids and adults
Hmm.
developmentally, say that narratives like this resonate because they align with how humans experience growth all of a sudden, not specifically step by step. And
Right.
that's what makes this magic more real.
Right.
Even in a darker fantasy, you still see that everything is working the way that it would work in real life. So no matter if it's, more of the, eerie fantasy or more of the more clear cut, either way, magic is coming into you and you are then going from your say your first version to your newest version.
So it's basically saying that something can shift with what you're reading, right? So
Exactly.
would you say that magic keeps the door open, and that's why we love it?
I think so. I think that's a great way to put it. I think the more you continue going through, the more you continue seeing the possibilities. So I like that. Keep the door open. Good.
That's a good one. We would like to encourage you to come visit the bookstore, nextchapterbookstore.shop. Say that 5 times fast. It is a gently used bookstore. Somebody has touched it before, but there's fantasy books in there, right? There's fiction, nonfiction, you name it. It's in there. Great prices. Go check it out. Is there something you would like us to talk about? We would love to add it to our series of shows, right, Rob? Rob is the one who gets it. So put it in the comments. Let us know if there's something you would like us to talk about. Any last thoughts about, do you believe in magic?
Like I always say, go read a book because that book may just change a little about you. So.
Yep, change your life. See you later, everyone.